Hey everyone, my name is Callum. In this episode I bring the very first animals to the Kuranda Park Zoo. The tropical Australian zoo starts off in the Daintree rainforest canopy, where we can find a collection of fascinating animals. Right at the entrance we look up into the trees and find the goodfellow's tree kangaroo, an endangered marsupial which is often a representative of Australian tree kangaroo species, and soaring through the dense foliage we can also spot some spectacled flying foxes with their straw-coloured fur around their eyes, giving them a unique look. Two icons of the Daintree canopy and both endangered species in need of saving. With the Kuranda Park Zoo's plan pretty much downsized into a mid-sized Australian zoo, the layout has also changed rather dramatically. Rather than inspired by Melbourne Zoo's multiple zoo loops off a main trail, the zoo will instead take inspiration from many of the smaller zoo sanctuaries, such as Hartley's Crocodile Adventures and the Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary. In this case, a large, but still on the realistic side of scaling, round tree kangaroo habitat introduces guests to the local native animals in the Daintree rainforest region. A round habitat allows the entrant to take an interesting shape, easily introducing a curved plaza, which will then lead to a main path just off the right of this habitat. First, we can see a very distinct Australian barrier design, often very different from say European or North American designs. Australian zoos prefer anti-climb barriers that are shorter in height, so the use of corrugated metal isn't effective but may be a bit too urban for some tastes. The outside of the barrier or the guest side has a nicer wooden plank or stained wood surface that is much nicer to look at, and works really nicely in this tropical rainforest belt. The round habitat is first visualised by placing a circle of barriers on the angle snap tool, allowing a consistent curve, allowing the tree kangaroos plenty of space to explore a habitat even if a bit larger than real life tree kangaroo habitats. Then the custom barrier, with its 4-metre deep corrugated metal wall, can be placed roughly following the barrier shape to create a round habitat. When completed, the sunken habitat is made by digging down the terrain to the bottom of the barrier metal walls. With the ugly gap between the guest path and habitat barrier, several flat plaster panels are added to blend the guest path right up to the habitat, allowing the path to appear connected to the sunken barrier, even without any of the terrain issues. The sunken habitat at the entrance will be home to the goodfellow's tree kangaroo, an endangered tree kangaroo from Papua New Guinea. Noticeably different from the better-known ground kangaroos, tree kangaroos have developed specialised adaptations to its arboreal lifestyle. These include shorter hind limbs, strong stocky arms, and a long tail for balance when leaping between branches in the canopy. On the ground, tree kangaroos are pretty clumsy due to their treetop adapted lifestyle, but when high in the trees, they are expert leapers. They can even downwards jump from 9 metres without hurting themselves. Being experts in the canopy is trouble when those trees disappear. There are 14 species of tree kangaroos found throughout the tropical forests of New Guinea and northeast Australia. These have all faced threats due to habitat loss and hunting. Australia, with their 2 species of tree kangaroo, have managed to put an end to traditional hunting and have introduced protection of their native habitats. This has allowed these 2 tree kangaroo populations to stabilise. However, over in New Guinea it is a different story. Ongoing deforestation and hunting in New Guinea has pushed the island's 12 species of tree kangaroo towards extinction. Lack of habitat protection and hunting bans are the key reasons for this. As such, there are 2 tree kangaroo species from New Guinea who have an international breeding program to raise awareness and conserve the species against extinction. The goodfellow's tree kangaroo is one of those 2 species, who have a good population in zoos in Europe and Oceania as a key representative of the endangered tree kangaroos who face threats in New Guinea. This is the reason I am building a Goodfellow's tree kangaroo habitat instead of building for a native tree kangaroo species found in the Daintree rainforest. Native species in the Daintree are the Lumholtz and Bennett's tree kangaroos. The Lumholtz tree kangaroo is often kept in Australian zoos as well to showcase the tree kangaroo native population, however I'm not aware of any Bennett's tree kangaroo in captivity. Very much like the Goodfellows, the tree kangaroos of the Daintree are found in rainforests high up in the Canopy. Mostly localised around the Daintree River, both live in the rugged and densely vegetated rainforest who feed on leaves of trees and vines. Tree kangaroos are folivores, meaning they survive off a diet primarily made of leaves. This makes them an important part of the ecosystem as they serve as seed dispensers and contribute to the overall plant diversity in the rainforest. Moving on to the second build of this zoo entrance, we continue a bit further along the path and place the walkthrough exhibit. One of the game representatives of the Daintree rainforest is the spectacled flying fox, another endangered species that is in desperate need of conservation. Spectacled flying foxes are large fruit bats, easily identified by their straw-coloured fur around their eyes and on their back and shoulders. These elusive bats eat rainforest fruits and nectar of some blossoming rainforest trees. As such, these are some of the most important pollinators and seed dispersers of the rainforest canopy. They provide this to at least 26 species of rainforest trees. They even need to source out salt as part of their diet, however this is pretty risky. The flying fox gets its salt by skimming over the surface of salt water, or by chewing mangrove leaves. The risk here is that waterways in the Daintree rainforest are heavily inhabited by the saltwater crocodile, who will not give up the chance to snap at a large flying fox. This walkthrough exhibit here is an aviary because of one major issue that Australian zoos address. Spectacled flying foxes potentially carry two fatal diseases. These are the Australian bat lysovirus and the Hendra virus. This is a big issue for those being in proximity to spectacled flying foxes, where aviaries are designed with a guest path barrier to prevent guests from getting too close and ensure protected contact, like vaccinations for zookeepers who have to be in close contact with the flying foxes. This is because transmission from these diseases comes from close contact through bites or scratches. This aviary for the spectacled flying fox is also home to the common ringtail possum. While not exactly a realistic mix, I found the addition a nice mix until I decided to build a nocturnal house for some of the Australian small animals. The common ringtail possum is one of the most commonly encountered marsupials in eastern Australia. It lives in a wide range of habitats, including suburban gardens where it can be seen at night. About the size of a domestic cat, the ringtail possum is known for its distinctive long prehensile tail, which is used for climbing and jumping between branches in the canopy. This possum is almost an exclusive tree dweller, where it can be found in forests, woodlands and rainforests, including areas of the Daintree tropics. It is a nocturnal animal, so realistically you wouldn't see them at all in an outdoor habitat, very much like everyone who has built an outdoor kiwi habitat. The possum eats a wide variety of leaves as well as fruits and flowers. A slightly odd fact as well, the common ringtail possum eats its own fecal pellets, so it can digest its food twice to extract the maximum amount of nutrients. Talk about a tasty meal. With the aviary still in progress and my facts are pretty much exhausted this episode, enjoy the music until the tour at the end of the speed build. Let's start the first animal tour for the Kuranda Park Zoo then. We start back at the entrance with its impressive Art Deco inspired entrance. We can easily get a feel for the tropical rainforest here, now with 2 habitat builds on both sides of the path. On the left side, the large circular habitat is home to the Goodfellow's tree kangaroo, who have a pretty large tree and climbing frame to explore in their habitat. This is the golden mantled tree kangaroo mod being used as a substitute for the Goodfellows. It is a much higher quality mod to represent the movement of the tree kangaroo, and these guys absolutely love to climb. Unlike koalas who appear disgusted at a climbing frame, these tree kangaroos explore every inch and spend about 75% of their time climbing all about this frame, giving us a unique look at the tree kangaroo's behaviour. Below, a representation of an Australian rainforest features a lush mix of ferns, bracken and leafy plants, but not too lush to make this a realistic build. Signage inspired by the Adelaide Zoo also shares a lot of fun facts about these animals, and I love how colourful this design is. As we can see, the Goodfellows is a bit different than the golden mantled, but largely looks similar, especially from a distance. Moving on from the tree kangaroos, across the main path we can find the spectacled flying Fox Aviary, home to the flying foxes and common ringtail possum for now. Signage for both the flying fox and ringtail possum can be found on both sides of the aviary. The walkthrough exhibit has been transformed into an immersive rainforest aviary, giving the flying foxes and possums a rich environment to live in, with many different lush foliage and branches like found in a rainforest landscape. We don't get access to the walkthrough exhibit for safety reasons, but instead custom mesh like the Oceania netting brings a more Australian design of aviary to the zoo, even if it's a little too big because it has to accommodate the space of the walkthrough exhibit. All these climbable branches are used by the possums while the flying foxes fly overhead in search of a tasty fruit snack. So that's the start of the Kuranda Park Zoo. I hope we all enjoy the direction the zoo is going and any new additions to the zoo, especially for the Daintree rainforest. Remember to like, comment, subscribe to the channel and join my Discord server for the next episode discussion. Thanks for watching everyone and see you next time.